Buckle up for one heck of a ride. Had a falling out with the girl I love and got served a cease and desist order. What can I legally do? Michigan. Ex post on our relationships. Hey guys, I already posted on our relationships for the relationship side of all this, but I need some advice on the legal side. For context, I am 21 and she is 19. I will give the short version of the story here. I guess if you need more context, see my other post. I met this girl in January of this year at the start of the second semester at our university when we worked in one of the rec centers together. She was a freshman and I was a junior. She started college a semester late. She said because of family issues and said she was nervous about it. So I decided to show her around a bit. We got lunch a few times during the first month on campus, and I gave her tours of the campus. We hit it off immediately, and I knew I was in love instantly. Well, long story short, I asked her out and she said no. I was heartbroken, but she agreed to still be friends. Unfortunately, I don't have evidence of this since the conversation was in person. I tried several times throughout the semester to show her what she meant to me, but she ignored me and all the thought I put into the gifts I gave her. We had a falling out that involved me drunk, calling her, and her telling me to leave her alone when I tried to explain. I have spent the last month in absolute depression. I think about her every day. She blocked me on social media so I can see her profile. But I haven't texted her since school ended. But it finally got to be too much for me. I decided I would try one more time to show her how much I love her. I knew the town she moved to school from. It's only like an hour away from me and I have family that live nearby. We have talked about it before. So I texted her and told her I was coming to meet her. I was going to meet her at the X coffee shop. And I wanted to talk about everything. Once again, she couldn't even do me the respect of replying. I checked her Instagram that night and saw that she was out partying that very night. There were pictures of her with alcohol, she is underage, and her wearing skanky clothes. She told me she hated partying. It's like she has become a totally different person. So I did freak out a little. I told her about how much I cared and about how awful it was for her to just ignore me like that. That I was going to come to coffee shop on X day and if she should do me the respect of coming to see me. She never replied, but I got a piece of mail today. It was a fucking cease and desist letter. She said she would seek legal avenues if I didn't stop harassing her. What the F, Reddit? I need to know what I can do legally to talk to her and make sure she doesn't understand. I don't want to live a life knowing she hates me. From my research, a cease and desist letter isn't legally binding like a restraining order or anything, and I'm not harassing her since I don't have an intent to intimidate or hurt her, so she can't charge me with anything. Is all that true? Do I need a lawyer to respond to her letter? Thanks for all your help and for reading this. Edit. Wow, everyone here is talking to me like I'm a piece of Just to be clear, I haven't contacted her since I got the letter. I am trying to figure out my next direction. I can't believe a sub specifically dedicated to legal advice is getting so personal. Original poster then proceeds to argue with the very reasonable comments. Major facer. You need to leave this person alone and seek some help. Your post reads like a best of collection for things emotionally unstable people say and do in the build-up to seriously dangerous activity. Seriously, get help from a professional. This kind of behavior is a one-way ticket to getting expelled from college and arrested. Frankly, you're lucky she hasn't reported you to the school yet because you're already at serious risk. Run, do not walk, away from this situation and never contact this person again. Original poster's response. I am not a perfect person. No one is. But I am certainly not dangerous, and I wouldn't like to go to her house without her knowing or anything. All I want is to hear straight from her that she doesn't want to speak to me again. Another comment from Grasshopper 1. You can cease. Then you can desist. Seriously, leave her alone. She clearly wants nothing to do with you. Original poster. Wait, so it is legally binding or not? Delete it. Stop trying to contact her and move on with your life. You don't own her, and she owes you nothing. She's not obligated to talk to you, be friends with you, or even acknowledge your existence. Original poster. I came here for legal advice, not this. I don't understand why you are even commenting if it is not about the legality of the situation. More choice quotes from original poster on the Our Legal Advice and the cross post to relationships. I deserve a legal recourse for caring? Lol. Okay. How can I end up in jail for trying to reconcile a great friendship? I don't understand. I don't think a reasonable person should feel threatened by this. But hey, that's just me. Maybe the law is weird. How can it be harassment if there is no intent to harm or threaten? Update. Oh boy, I've been wondering for a while whether to post here again or not. I wasn't going to, but I know my last post ended up on a few other subreddits, and I actually stumbled across it on my main account on Nice Guys, and I read all the comments there. It was rough for me to read his original post, but it was a reminder of what my own mindset and the mindset of so many men like me. I decided I needed to post again for some closure. I would have posted this on relationships, but they don't let you update posts they have taken down. Here, the mods there actually took down the post, not me. For those who didn't see my original post on relationships before it was removed, it included more detail than my last one here. So I'm going to link to a thread from Nice Guys from a few people saved the text of my relationships post in the comments. First, I want to assure everyone that I didn't contact that girl ever again. Since I moved, I no longer see her or go anywhere by where she used to live. Go to school or work, I don't know if she still lives in the same area or goes to the same school. I have avoided getting any information about her at all. The way I acted and the way I hurt her and scared her so much still haunts me. Part of me wants to track her down and apologize. But I know from my classes that one, that can re-victimize her all over again. Two, it would be a selfish thing to do because it would be to clear my conscience, not to make her feel better. If she wants to get closure by talking to me, I'm sure she can find me somehow. And three, I don't want to make the mistake of using an apology to make her feel manipulated to talking to me again. I learned in my classes that men do that a lot. I don't want to hurt her anymore, so I will work past the guilt while never talking to her again. I was distraught after my last post here. I admit I came here looking for validation, not help. I had a warped sense of entitlement that led me to believe that no one would possibly disagree with me. But obviously, hundreds of people told me that I was a mess, a predator, a stalker, and that I needed help. All of these people were right. I don't know what happened, but something clicked in me after seeing those comments, despite how combative and abusive I was in response to the comments. I checked myself into therapy in Michigan the week after I posted here. I knew something was wrong, but I was still in denial. I thought I needed help with heartbreak. I didn't recognize that I actually needed help with identifying and combating my messed up belief systems that I used to justify stalking and victimizing that poor girl. After a few sessions, I started seeing a psychiatrist too. I got on mood stabilizers and I started to realize that something was very, very wrong with that way I was acting. Something that couldn't be cured by medication. After talking it over with my therapist, I decided it would be best for me to move out of state into my aunt's house. Within a month of me posting here, I had moved into her house. After moving, I started the process of transferring to a new school next semester, working full-time, and continued to take my medication and was transferred to a new therapist. I had a fresh idea of the issues I wanted to work on in therapy, but after a few weeks of having 2 therapy sessions a week, my therapist pointed out to me during a session that I was still exhibiting the same kind of obsessive behaviors over women that earned me a cease and desist letter in Michigan. Though I wasn't stalking anyone at this point, I was just obsessing in my mind, which is still bad. But I wasn't actively victimizing anyone. I realized that in addition to therapy, I needed more help. My therapist pointed me to a class run by a local agency that was designed for men that have committed violent crimes against women, like domestic violence, assault, sexual assault, stalking, etc. Most of the men in the class are court-ordered to go as a condition of their probation parole, but you didn't have to be court-ordered to go. So I signed up voluntarily. I attend a 2-hour class session every week and have been attending for about a month now. The goal of the class is to help us recognize and change abusive, violent behaviors. I know most of you are thinking, what kind of monsters can't recognize violent behavior? People like me. People like me in the last post. I look like a normal person. I grew up in an upper middle class neighborhood. Monsters come in all shapes and sizes, and I fooled myself by saying because I didn't look like an abuser or because I wasn't like the abusers I saw on TV, that I wasn't one. But I am. I can take back what I've done, but I can promise myself I will never victimize anyone else again. In conclusion, a lot had changed for me in 3.5 months. I want to say that I do not blame my behavior on my mental illness or anger or the media or whatever. I made a conscious decision to stalk and terrorize another human being because I thought I had a right to dictate how others interact with me. The class is a year-long class and I have only been in it for a month, but I have already learned so much. I have learned from my group that abuse is always a conscious choice and a learned behavior. But I believe that since I've learned this behavior and it's voluntary, it's totally within my control to change it. I've also learned from my group about the importance of having a non-romantic support system. So I made some male and female friends at work that invite me over to play video games with them. Don't worry, Reddit. These are actual friends and not just people I am stalking or believe I am in love with. I talked about this extensively with my therapist and tried to be cognizant of my obsessive tendencies. Thank you to everyone who told it to me straight, and I'm sorry for how I decided to treat everyone who was just trying to give me the advice I asked for. TLDR. I ceased, I desisted, and I got mental health help. Thanks to everyone. Edit. Wow, just wow. I didn't expect this response. I guess this is a top post of all time. I wanted to say some things for anyone who reads this in the future. 1. I read every single comment in Best of Legal Advice, even though I didn't reply to many. I cried a lot while reading them. 2. I didn't post this to be gilded or to be patted on the back. I'm not sure why I did it, but I don't think congrats is quite the right thing to say to me. I don't know if I deserve praise for being a normal human being with normal relationships. But thank you all for being supportive anyway. 3. I've had at least 10 people ask me for the name of the program I am in. The program I am in is specific to my area, so I'd rather not disclose the name. However, I encourage anyone who is concerned that they are controlling or abusive in their relationships with partners, family, or friends to Google batterer intervention programs in my area. I did some research today about a class I'm in, and that is what these type of classes are called. They all operate a little differently based on where you live and what program you do. But we use stuff like the power and control wheel, and there are steps in my program. There is no official federal program, I don't think. 4. I am not healed. I have a lot of obsessive thoughts, and I have to try really, really hard to have appropriate boundaries. My meds have helped with this, but it is a behavior and thought process I need to change, and that can't be done with pills. I have a lot of mental health issues. Duh, based on my first post. But honestly, what you saw was just the tip of the iceberg. I have never had real friends until the ones I have now. Before Jamie, I definitely engaged in stalking behaviors with both women I had crushes on and men I wanted to be friends with. It was never as bad as it was with Jamie, but I still am sure I made people uncomfortable. I also have some self-harm behaviors I am working out. So to the person who was worried that I would use all of the good praise to say, "Oh, I'm perfect now, so I can do what I want." Trust me, I know I amped up and I want to change. I want to have normal relationships and friendships. I want to not be known as that creepy kid at my new college. Please get help if you need it. Take it from me. All people are capable of changing for the positive. Top comments. Dan Erickson. First post is a real Wile E. Coyote holding up a sign that says, "Yikes!" moment. Another comment from Blue Strat. She agreed to be friends, but I didn't get it in writing. And another comment from Animal Lover 38. I was concerned with his comment, "I'm not dangerous. I wouldn't just show up to her house without her knowledge." After he literally visited her hometown without her responding to his messages because she still got them. I could see him also sending her, "I'm heading over to your house to talk about this in person," and it escalating if she called the police for trespassing. And all original poster would say is, "But she knew I was coming over." Here's another comment. Yep, he was certainly on that train. Thank goodness she sent that cease and desist when she did. Original poster needed that wake-up call badly. Good timing that there were still lines he wouldn't cross, and he had something he considered too far. Another comment from Ready Lame Fire. When people get to this level of obsession, it's almost like they recognize the bad behavior, but excuse themselves on tiny exceptions and loopholes in their own morals. I have no doubt that if original poster hadn't gotten early enough intervention, he would have kept making excuses, such as her hometown only being an hour away from his, and since they had mentioned it before in passive conversation, that was reason enough for him to drive there. A comment from Dogs and Cats World 1000. Because if she had agreed to it, that would definitely mean she would not be allowed to change her mind. Glad to see that this guy at least is coming to terms with how wrong the thought process is. Another comment from Goblin Girl. So I'm not that far into this particular chapter, but it really encourages listening to the warning signs and giving people a hard no before they get attached. Essentially, the more they get attached, the likelihood of violence increases because they feel they are owed. That's why husbands stalking their wives are more likely to turn violent. Letting down a creep hard right away is actually better for your safety in general according to this book. Granted, I have not finished the chapter yet. Here's a final comment from Animal Lover 38. Sad thing is, even outright rejection can cause guys to not take a hint. I short circuited the other day and bluntly told a guy friend I didn't find him attractive at all. Now, almost any time I mention something about people I don't like, he is convinced I'm talking about him and he'll respond with pity me messages trying to get me to feel bad. I think he thinks if he guilts me enough, I'll sleep with him.